Hi,
Daily Podcast.
my name is Mike Matthews. Oh my gosh, it's
Mike's Daily Podcast.
It's been a long time since I've broadcasted from this part of Cafe Anyway, somewhere in Podcastro Valleyton, and I am okay today, but it's been a rough week, and let me tell you, it had to do with cats. Cats, not the music who, but the animal, because I've got a cat.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
I got a little, kitty named Rocky. I posted pictures of him.
Mike's
But the other cat
Daily
that we've been
Podcast.
kind of taking care of,
Yeah!
in as much as you can take care of him because he is feral, Patches, whom I posted pictures of, Patches the cat, he got into a fight or something. There were scratches on his face. And I came home Thursday thinking I was going to do a podcast. Nope. Because I was dealing with, oh no. My lovely lady friend said, Patches has scratches on his face. And then he ran away. He ran off into the hills because he's a wild feral cat still. So that kind of derailed my whole wanting to do a podcast. And then yesterday, he came back. He was fine. He does have scratches on his face, but they look more superficial. The problem is he's very feral, and if we were to grab him and take him to the vet, we'd have to probably have him sedated. But he's getting around, he's eating, he's not bleeding. He's doing good. But this is the problem with having an outdoor cat. Now, the Rocky, he's going to stay inside his whole life. We'll put him on a harness and take him to the outside that way, or just, have it heavily monitored. But you got to be careful. The lifespan of a cat that lives outdoors is significantly short, and I can testify to that because...
And here's today's podcast picture.
It will be Will it be a picture of a cat? I don't know if the podcast picture will be of a cat. Let's see. But I can testify to that because my whole life, my younger years, when I was a kid, living with my mom, oh my gosh, every cat we had met a horrible demise. Dogs attacked, got hit by a car, all that stuff. Oh, speaking of dogs, the late great Basil the Boxer. Such a happy canine he was. This podcast picture, I think, will go with a podcast picture from today because it's kind of stormy looking. Stormy weather, because my baby's gone away. Or should we do a podcast picture from last night with the moon? No. Or a nice sunset picture from last night. There's so many choices. Well, find out what it is. Go to MikesDailyPodcast.com. I'll have made a decision by then. Remember, I was telling you about the horrendous internet issues that I had last week? Well, this week the internet issues are still afoot. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to upload this podcast via a Wi-Fi connection, which is actually moving faster than the actual Ethernet connected internet. Just a little side note, because sometimes Wi-Fi works better, and that's how amazing technology had. Do young people really appreciate what world we live in today with technology? The amazing things we can do. I feel as you're a kid, if you're young, if you're in your 20s or your 30s, unless you're a genius, you don't really know what we're capable of, or the tools that are at our disposal that we didn't used to have, that we can do so many amazing things now. Take a podcast, for example. I am here at a cafe with all these wonderful people drinking. Interestingly enough, we're all drinking pumpkin lattes, but not from Starbucks. We hate Starbucks because it costs a lot of bucks, and it's usually made by perturbed, angry 20-somethings or teenagers who do not put any care or effort into. I know, broad brushstroke. But seriously, I used to love Starbucks, and I would be, hey, that's awesome. All the young people running the Starbucks. Actually, you know, I'd say 20 years ago, Starbucks was employing a lot more middle-aged people, a lot more people older. They were like, yeah, bring it all in. And sometime, I'd say in the late O's, the early 10s, it got to be more of, no, you got to be young. You got to be a young 20-something. We're not going to employ any older people. Or maybe it was older people just wised up and said, no, we're not going to do this. I'll just retire. This is too ridiculous. But the quality, when you go in, it's like it feels to me now in a Starbucks like a fast food restaurant. Like you're going through a, I don't want to pick on anybody. Wendy's, Burger King, McDonald's, I don't know. Cafe, I don't know. Some place where they just got to throw it together as fast as possible and get it to you. And I understand there's a lot of stress, and I understand a lot of them haven't had a lot of sleep because they're also going to college and they're trying to get a degree, or maybe they have kids, or maybe they have kids and they're going to college, and there's a lot going on for them in their lives. But it's just, the quality is just nothing. And I'm like, I could make this at home. Here's what I'm getting to, is why don't we learn this stuff and make it at home now? There are ample recipes online that we can utilize that will closely facsimilate, closely match what you pay $5-6 for, $7 for at Starbucks. The point is, nobody here is drinking Starbucks. I made all these drinks for everybody. You're welcome. Oh, they don't like my drinks. Well, you're not welcome, and I wish I never made it, you ingrateful ingrates. But thanks for coming to Cafe anyway, everybody, here in Podcastro Valleyton, the last place on earth. And I didn't do a podcast on Wednesday because my lovely lady friend usually has that day off. And it's getting harder and harder to do a podcast for you on Wednesdays. I'm just going to be honest with you. But thank you. Very sad news today. Aaron Carter, he was a teenage sensation. Perhaps when you were growing up, you loved him. His first album came out at the age of 9. Well, he has died. He was found dead. And probably by the time you listen to this, you'll have more info than I have at this moment. But going outside a cafe anyway, somewhere in Podcastro Valleyton, the last place on earth. He was an, what do you call it? One of those child singing stars and actors in the 90s. He was only 34. He is the brother of Nick Carter of the Backstreet Boys. And I remember him just being the biggest thing on the planet. And there are a lot of people, a lot of young people today, well, I would say younger than me, but millennials, that are going to say, oh my gosh, they're going to have a sudden realization and go, hey, all those people that I grew up with, that I loved, that I thought were immortal, this can happen. I guess they knew that with the Amy Winehouse. Let's see, Amy Winehouse, was she also 34? No, that was the 32. Amy Winehouse was 27. That was that whole, the 27 club of unfortunate folks that died at the age of 27. A lot of big rock and pop stars. Oh, it's sad. Okay. But yeah, that realization that, a lot of people in my generation, like when Prince died and Michael Jackson and Whitney Houston, were like, wait a minute, what's going on here? These people are supposed to live forever. Fame. I'm going to learn how to fly. That kind of thing. Well, I am going to... Oh, today. Yikes. How are we going to do this? Shoot. I can't do the thing where I play my old... We can try. All right, we'll try. We'll try and do the segment called Let's Go Back with Matthews. It's going to be a little bit tricky because I'm using two computers today, and I realize some of them that I'm on right now, I don't have hooked up to the same thing because of the aforementioned internet issues. So let's go and take this. Let's go back with Matthew's segment and do this right now. I recently recorded this. This is fascinating. Hopefully this will work. And then afterwards, we will say hi to some folks outside a cafe anyway. Okay, here we go. This is from, speaking of the late 90s, the early O's, when these pop bands, these boy bands were popular. I'm going to try and play for you a little bit of when I was on the radio back in that time period. I was on a country station.
Yum. Another chance to win at 10:45.
We're going to arrive early tonight. I gotta pee.
I always love it when we arrive a little early.
That's the Santa Fe Cafe.
A small cafe. Hey, cafe. Hey.
Welcome to the Santa Fe Cafe.
Thank you, Joe.
100.7 KHAY Ventura.
Dix, Randy Travis, George Strait.
I think I was saying Dixie Chicks. Something got cut out there.
McBride, Independence Day. When you brush your teeth, does it get all over the place, or can you keep it mostly in? Do a clean toothbrusher. Let's get this party started.
Michael's interacting with a caller.
It's good, there.
In the fair poster, it has the red, white, and blue.
Yeah, with that little boy sitting there. I like that.
Purchase it. They can purchase it at the fair, I'm told.
Yeah.
So that's a song for courtesy of the red, white, and blue, Toby Keith.
Yep.
All right. Well, I'll play it for you, and you can enjoy it.
I'm not sure if it's cutting out
It's over
now.
Maybe you'll find one who has one that can make a copy for you.
American girls.
Yeah, it is 100.7 KHAY.
All right, it seems to be working correctly now. Maybe it's my internet.
And Toby Keith. I'm at Michael's at the KH Santa Fe Cafe, and the KH Cafe question tonight: when you brush your teeth, do you get paste everywhere, or can you keep it in the mouth? Or hello.
Hello there, Matt. Say hi to my friend Katie here.
Wow.
Hello.
Matt seems to be a little bit, Matt, hello, come back there. Matt, come on.
Ow. Oh, yes. When you brush your teeth, Katie, can you keep the paste in your mouth?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
You know, how do I know if I'm a redneck?
The definition of redneck is if you mow your front yard and you find two cars, you're a redneck.
Aha! Colin Ray in this life.
For all that I've been blessed with in this life, there's one thing I needed to. Colin Ray. What a voice. What, that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. That's my story. I'm going to go home and listen to a bunch of Colin Ray CDs that I have. Yes, I think I have a CD player somewhere. Okay, that was the segment. Let's go back with Matthews, and let's say hi to a couple people that we may have just heard just now. No. But we did hear an early version of Valentino. He's not with us, but look who is outside a cafe anyway, somewhere in Podcastro Valley, to the last place on earth. Hi, Mike. It's Benita the Rodeo Queen. How's y'all doing up at my house tonight?
It's a Disgruntled Fiddle Player, tell you what.
What?
I'm putting all my time and energy into watching all the places that people go to vote, the polling stations, Mike. I'm going to be on it like white on rice. I watch all the pollsters. I watch everybody taking the votes and the ballots and make sure that there's no shenanigans and funny stuff like there was in 2000.
Oh, okay. That's fascinating. Hold that thought.
Later that day.
Yeah. Something came up. Somebody called me outside a cafe anyway, somewhere in Podcastro Valley. So, Disgruntled Fiddle Player, what you're saying is you're keeping an eye on all the people that are taking votes, and are you harassing them?
Well, I mean, if I'm trying to make sure that freedom and elections are being done fairly and representing what the true American pride represents, then I am harassing them.
Okay, wow. Well, I would say, for the most part, people that are at your local place to put your ballot, your polls, your pollsters, your electioneers, your election takers, the places where you vote, a lot of that is voluntary. And so, that what the last thing they need is somebody that's breathing down their neck and being adversarial.
Are you saying that when it comes to defending freedom, I shouldn't be adversarial, Mike Matthews? That's impossible.
Well, who knows? What I'm saying is that you just should be nice. That's what I'm saying. Be nice. Elon Musk apparently is not being nice to his Twitter staffers. He's laying people off. But here's the thing. Everybody's like, oh, those poor people working at Twitter. Oh, they got let go. Oh, I feel so bad for them. In the world of difficult jobs, being a Twitter employee is probably right there at the top of the list of not being a terrible Twitter job. I mean, I don't know if it's like Google, where they get the nice cushy cafeteria everywhere. They walk in the building, they get free this, free that. They get a free masseuse, free childcare, all of that. But I think their life is pretty cushy. It's not like they're going in deep into the bowels of the earth to extract coal. It's not like they are a fire person risking life and limb trying to put out a fire somewhere in California, and the horrible forest fire issues that we tend to have. Like right now, we do not have, actually, because it's raining at the moment here at Cafe anyway. It's actually a darkish November sky. Under a dark November sky, nothing changes on New Year's Day. Maybe that's not how the song goes. The point is that Musk planned to slash the company's 7,500 person payroll after he finalized his $44 billion acquisition late last week. He let go CEO Parag Agrawal, as well as Twitter's chief financial officer and its head of legal, public policy, and trust and safety. Upon taking over the company, it's total chaos, house melting down, everyone looking towards... The thing is, all these employees that are being let go are going to find such night... The next job they get is going to be... If it doesn't pay as much, they're going to still make a ton of money, and there's no reason why we should feel sorry for them. And Elon Musk took it over, and who knows what he's going to do. But come on. This story. Oh, and Jimmy Kimmel. He says he lost at least half his fan base over his anti-Trump jokes. He says 10 years ago, among Republicans, I was the most popular talk show host, interestingly. He said when Trump was first running for office, he said ABC executives hinted that Jimmy Kimmel should back off his jokes about Trump. He said, I just said, if that's what you want to do, I understand. I don't begrudge you for, but I'm not going to do that. He said he agreed that being more neutral in his comedy would help the ratings, and he told executives, if you want somebody else to host the show, that's fine. That's okay with me. I'm just not going to do that. I couldn't live with myself otherwise. He said executives backed off because they knew he was serious. Okay. There you go. All that fascinating news that just put you to sleep. Outside of Cafe anyway, look who else is here. Oh, am I gonna make delicious root beer hats right now? Thank you. Oh, along with that weird coffee drink that I made for everybody earlier. All the ingrates that are here at Cafe Anyway. Yeah, I know. Drink it right now. I'll cut you. All right, I just did. Look, I work in radio. Radio is not friendly. What Elon Musk did on Friday was like the nicest thing, the nicest way I've ever seen anybody let anybody go. I worked at stations, they just let everybody go. I've showed up to go to work. This is at 6 o'clock on a Sunday morning. I showed up to go to work at this one station. This is back in the 90s. The guy answers the door and he goes, yeah, you know what? We've all been fired. That's how I found out. That's just how it is. And I hate to say it, but these people that work at Twitter, they're mostly young. They're mostly overly sheltered. They are similar to a type of substance that falls from the sky when it gets really cold. They're like that. They melt really quickly. And they just need to deal with it, man. This is life. People get let go all the time. Gosh, why that is even a story, but I heard that like 50 times yesterday, and I knew I had to do a podcast. I was going to tell you something fun. Oh, Winky. Winky sent me something funny. Winky, who was a friend of my mom's, my late mom, and she used to send emails to my mom, and now she sends them to me. Thank you, Winky. And there's a picture of a guy holding a dog on his lap in a car, and it says, he doesn't like to sit in the back, so sometimes I let him sit up front with the dog. Aw. I'm not sure. That's not really typical, Winky. But thank you, Winky. All right. In other words, pets are wonderful, I guess. And Miss Argentina and Miss Puerto Rico revealed they secretly got married. All right. And an ex-Apple employee stole $17 million from the company. A former Apple employee has pleaded guilty to defrauding the tech giant of $17 million. Fascinating. All right. Now it is time for the segment, the Mike Matthews New Tunes Feud. Let's see now. We got a couple songs here. I'm going to have to do this in a strange sort of way because I don't have the, what do you call it, open. Oh, I don't have this connected is what I'm trying to say to the thing that I'm recording the podcast on. But I want to try and open this particular oh, you hear it there. But that's Toby Lightman. So our first guest is Toby Lightman. If you saw, maybe this should be a video podcast instead of just a podcast, an audio podcast. Because I am racing around trying to click things while I am talking simultaneously. This is not easy, everybody. Let's see. Okay. Toby Lightman, After All. Let's see if I can open this up on the YouTube and play it for you. That'll work, won't it? So which one do you like better? And if you are a musician or know a musician that would like me to play a song, please give them my email, MikesDailyPodcast@gmail.com. Okay, this is a song called After All. I think this will
When
work.
the stakes are high.
Oh, rats. First, we have to watch this wonderful Grammarly commercial. Here we go. Toby Lightman. She's got blonde hair.
You gave up your side and opened up wide. Put down your sword. I'll do the same, 'cause we both can't afford to go through life bored. Banging on.
All right, that's Toby Lightman. Wow, it's very mellow. Or do you like this SoCal band called Windows Gold? They have a song called Holy Rollers. Let's see if I can call this up on YouTube as well. Holy Rollers. Here it is. This is Windows Gold, Holy Rollers, from their album. It says the female-oriented quartet called Holy Rollers was formed in Costa Mesa, California, by husband-wife duo Ben Sauer on guitar and Madeline Starr on vocals, later joined by Ian Zamora on bass and Carson Ford on drums. The riveting rock outfit made an auspicious entrance into the scene in May 2021 with their first single, Pretend. And that got a lot of airplay, I guess, on Sirius XM. Their debut album, Love Drops, will come out next year in January. And we just heard a little bit of that. Okay, which one do you like better, Toby Lightman or Holy Rollers? Call me at 336-MM Daily. 3 + 3 = 6. MM is a Mike Matthews Daily, as in what this podcast tries to be, or will try to be yet again. Hopefully the drama has ended for a while. By the way, I am going to be producing a podcast for another podcaster, a radio host, who is very skilled in the world of finances. He eats, breathes, chews, ingests, absorbs all the financial news that is out there, financial theories, trends, you name it. And he does a podcast. I'm going to be taking it over, producing it for him in about a week. But he said something very interesting. His name's Rob Black, and he said that drama always seems to involve a third party. Man and a woman, no drama. But you add the third thing, like money or sex or children, or usually money, or something else. That's what creates the drama. King Kong, was it Fay Ray? There was no drama. But you add airplanes, drama. Love, you add that third thing, love, drama. Now we've got drama. So I found that fascinating. Okay. Let me know what you think. 336-MM Daily. 3 + 3 = 6. MM is the Mike Matthews Daily, as in what this podcast has in its title. And with more ways to reach me, it is A-Frank.
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at MikesDailyPodcast.com. Email Mike now at MikesDailyPodcast@gmail.com. See you tomorrow. Bye.
And that was FF episode 2517, 2517. Yeah, if you want to see the latest podcast picture, and the one that was from the last podcast, 2516, that was me driving with a skeleton, go to my website, MikesDailyPodcast.com.